So, welcome to Tuesday morning's Coffee Rant with Dan. This is how I originally started it on a Tuesday or a Tuesday morning, approximately 3 years ago. I think my first one was June 22nd of 2022. Interesting. I'm not sure how long I'm going to go this morning. I'm going to try not to use any profanity simply because I'm going back on the air with Revolution.radio as of this Thursday. I've missed the last two Thursdays. I had some personal problems come up in my life where I needed to. I guess the best way to put it is my past training for us people who aren't super famous says if you're in some kind of legal problem, you get off of social media. You don't spend as much time on social media. If you do a podcast or a radio show, like the way I do, maybe you get off of it. If you don't get off of it, you definitely don't talk a whole lot about it. So I'm going to be, of course, I'll be careful on what I talk about. There's an ongoing case, and I'm going to explain some of the things involved in it on this podcast because I'm telling the truth, and the truth is simple. And if the truth were to get me persecuted in any kind of way, well then okay, so be it. I'd be in good company throughout history. This is cherry tobacco. Right. Okay, cool. Thanks, Willow. Alright, Willow of Revolution.radio just hit me back up. Thank you. I advised her I'd be back on this Thursday because I missed 2 weeks, as I said. One of my little morning vices sometimes. It usually is in the evening, but lately it's been the morning and evening. Cherry tobacco. It smells good. Another vice. Caffeine. I've talked about vices. I'll talk about those more. The 7 deadly sins. How they're really just warnings against excess. So if I sat there with my pipe on my mouth the whole day, I probably would die. If I did nothing but ingest caffeine all day, there's a chance it's not going to be good for my heart. So I think all things in moderation. So, I want to talk about some things I feel are misconceptions in the law of attraction, in the law of attraction community, or even shadow work. And there's something on here on shadow work. Hold on one second. I wanted to look for something because I was going to read something today. And it's a list of things that have to do with shadow work and how we hate to put our attention on these things. So I guess what I want to say about this is there's a saying, people like to rhyme words, where attention goes, energy flows. That's true. But then sometimes some people will say, well, don't put your attention on that because you're going to manifest something negative. If that's what you're putting your attention on, this thing. I have to respectfully disagree. What is the intention behind my attention? In other words, what is the why of my attention being on a given thing? The why matters. Let me play something here. Just so I'm going to have some pictures just kind of going through. That right there was firing squad. And firing squad was World War II. It was Semitic Hebrew Jews being murdered. So as these things play through, you can just like look at them. I'm just going to have them on automatic. I might not necessarily be talking about any one given thing as it goes through here. Just something to look at besides my ugly mug drinking coffee and smoking my pipe. I don't want to have a fire in my house. Okay? Just like I don't want to get shot. I've been shot once, I've been shot at. I know personally that I'm not really Thor, although I'd like to be. But bullets will go through my skin, unfortunately. So I've already found out that I'm allergic to bullets. That doesn't mean I want to get shot. I don't want to have a fire in my house. Okay? Or apartment, I should say. But yet I have one of these things. Not trying to manifest a fire, I just have one in case there is a fire. So where your attention goes, energy flows indeed. But what is the intent behind that energy? What is the why of your focus on a given thing? Should I speak about the atrocities happening to Semitic peoples? Semitic peoples? True Semitic peoples, both those pictures, just for instance. Should I only speak about them one time and then let it go? Right here. If you hit a woman, you're no longer a man if you're abusing somebody. Should I speak out against the abuse of women by some men? Only once. Just speak out against it once. Because if I keep putting my energy there, where my attention goes, my energy flows, is that going to manifest more women and child abuse? If I talk about the atrocities of World War II and the Semitic peoples that were killed, murdered, marched into ovens, is that going to cause more of that? If I keep my blinders on and I put my attention only on things that are the most important to just me, and I pretend bad things around me aren't occurring, what am I really creating? What am I really manifesting? See, people didn't put enough attention on, they don't put enough attention on the negative occurrences of harm being done to others. It's ugly. But ignoring something bad and hoping it goes away has never worked throughout human history. And this is in the microcosm of our lives and the macrocosm of the world we create through the energy we all put out, which tells the world we don't give a shit about others. So if I put my energy onto a thing, where my attention goes, my energy flows. What is the will, power, and intention? What is the why of my attention going to this thing? Where attention goes, energy flows. Things are a little bit more nuanced than a lot of New Agers want you to believe. So don't think about nothing negative, or negative things will come. But what if you're battling something that's negative? Okay? My attention has often gone to the oppressed, not because I want them oppressed. I want them unoppressed. My attention has gone to the condition of human slavery, not because I want more slavery, but because I want them unenslaved. So keeping your blinders on and hoping bad stuff doesn't happen, doesn't work. That's taking your attention off of things. What you're actually creating at that point is you're manifesting ignorance because you're ignoring it. That's where the word ignorance comes from. It's been a tumultuous year and a half. My God. I recently, and this is going to get to a case I got coming up, a court case, where I have to defend myself in court. And I believe I'll be good. I believe I'll be okay. I think justice is going to prevail. But I recently had to defend myself physically from somebody who's a bully. I'm a little bit chubbier right now than I want to be. I'm probably sitting at about 225 pounds. And I'm better off at about 195 to 200. I'm 5'10" and a half-ish. The person I fought in self-defense was 6'1", 270 pounds, and 20 years younger than me. But this person was hitting women in front of children. And there were certain people in this person's life that wanted to not put their attention on that, because where your attention goes, energy flows. No, in this case, it was creating nothing but effing ignorance. Because we have to put our attention on the victimization of people, or we're telling the world and universe we don't care about the victimization of people, which means there's going to be more victimization right here of people, human beings. In this case, Semitic human beings. Semitic really just refers to languages, offshoots of Hebrew, Aramaic, and Arabic languages. And historically, the people that speak those languages are of certain bloodlines. Again, I'm a conspiracy analyst. I've studied, I've researched, and I still have questions about why they're trying to, seems that Europeans are trying to murder off those bloodlines throughout human history. I have Knights Templars in here because many of the Knights Templars were actually secretly a secret society of good from the research I've done. Not all of them, some of them were murderers. Some of the views I have are opinions. Some of the views I have are objective and truthful. And they are, the truth in those things are quantifiable and known, and they can't be refuted. Such as karma, it can't be refuted, it exists. Gravity cannot be refuted, it exists. You cannot see either one of them, but it exists. Life after death, it exists. It's irrefutable. In my research, you transmute into a different frequency, into a different energy, into a different vibration. Something higher vibrating than we are. That's why we can't see it. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything, but I can't see the radio waves, but yet I can listen to the radio. I can't see the Wi-Fi signal in the air anywhere, yet it's here. So these are things that are they're vibrating at a much faster rate. Call me a blue-collar scholar. Crude Juice for Verka, if you're listening to that. Thank you for that term. I got that from him. So in the last couple of weeks, I'm going to smoke again. Not only did I have to train myself or defend myself against a trained martial artist, larger and younger than me, who is being very abusive to women and children, in front of children, who has serious chemical dependency issues. Now again, the voluntarist in me, the person who believes your body is your own and you own your own body, which says you can put anything into it you so choose. I do not care about somebody who partakes in alcohol. I myself partake in it occasionally. I think a little bit more moderately than a lot of people. But if you want to drink it every day of your life, that's your liver and that's your life. As long as you're not doing this when you drink it, as long as you're not hitting women, as long as you're not abusing others or victimizing others or initiating harm to others because of your chemical dependency, have at it. But if you do certain things and you experiment with certain designer drugs and you spend over a decade of ingesting mind-altering substances every day, and because of it, you think it's okay to lie and initiate harm to others, especially those weaker than you. There's not many women out there who are going to be able to defend themselves against a trained martial artist who's 6'1" and 270 pounds. There's a lot of men out there that can't even do that. I count myself as fortunate. But again, I didn't train in martial arts because I like to fight. If I liked to fight, I would have I would have really started fighting. I'd have gone into the UFC. I've had people tell me I probably would have done okay if I was a little younger than that. I don't like fighting. I didn't get into martial arts to fight. I got into it to be able to defend myself, to protect those I love, and I enjoyed the exercise. I enjoyed the challenge of it. I got my fair share of injuries from it, but I don't like to fight. See, people who actually enjoy the competition, and now I have competed on a low level, but people who really enjoy the fighting, they're going to go fight. Chuck Liddell, famous MMA fighter back in the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, even it's like 2007, 2008. I remember him being quoted as saying once, "Chuck, if you'll ever hear this, I absolutely love you. I'm not disrespecting you in any way." He's a good coach, a good guy. I remember him saying, "I just like to fight. I'll fight somebody in the backyard for free as long as it's mutual and it's not like against the law or whatever." And some martial artists get into it because they like to fight. I had a pro boxer friend of mine, a journeyman. I won't name who he is, but he said the difference between me and him was that I started martial arts because I wanted to be able to defend myself and exercise and whatnot. And he's like, I remember him saying, "Dan, I got into boxing because I like to fight." So there's a difference in mentality a lot of times between, and I'm not downing people who want to fight. If you want to test yourself, some guys get into the competition, they want to test themselves. It's an athletic endeavor, and it's the closest thing to approximation of a fight you're going to find in MMA, let's just say. And I'm not saying those people are bad people because they're making money doing what they do, and they're going up against other similarly trained people. It's a challenge. They're not bullies. It's an agreed upon conflict, one in which they sign contracts. I've said all conflict can be broken down into only two categories: agreed upon, which means both people are a party to that confrontation taking place, be it outside of a bar or in a cage or in a ring. One of them's illegal, the other one contracts have been signed. That's still an agreed upon combative situation, I'll say. Then there's self-defense, which means you're not a party to this thing. You don't want to fight. You're defending yourself from someone else's attack. That's the situation I found myself in. Everything I've ever accomplished in my life, and a lot of those challenges included some legal battles, or they included just many challenges. My focus would be on them, strongly on them. my willpower would go into winning those and coming out with something favorable for myself or for others when I'm putting my attention on a thing. Where my attention goes, my energy flows. I'm not going to take my attention off of something just because it's negative. I might be combating the negativity in that thing, and if I don't keep my attention on it to a degree, am I promoting or creating or manifesting ignorance from ignoring it? I say if my intention is pure, if the why of my intention is correct and in alignment with objective morality and natural law, then putting my intention and willpower and why in a positive way, attention on that thing. If my intention is correct, as I put my intention, as I put my attention on a given thing. Why am I looking over there all the time? I'm not sure. This is like a Wi-Fi thing. It's supposed to go here and it's supposed to... It don't work. There's nothing I can get it to sound good. I keep looking at it. Don't know. But it's the intention behind your attention that actually matters. The intention behind your attention is what actually matters. On my last radio show that I did do a few weeks ago, I spoke about resentment. So is my intention behind where my attention goes, energy flows, is it resentment? Or is it for the defense of others? Is it for my sacred right of self-defense of myself? These are the types of questions we have to ask ourselves when we hear new agey stuff like, well, where your attention goes, energy flows. Yeah, it does. And every time I've put my attention on something with the proper willpower behind it, because I had the proper intention or why of what I'm doing, the why is important. The why of what you do will greatly influence the outcome of what you're putting your attention on. So when I put my attention on and bring attention to the victimization of other human beings in some kind of way, be it the Semitic peoples who have been murdered in the past during World War II, or the Semitic peoples being currently murdered now, or the victimization of women and children, I'm not trying to manifest more of that. I'm trying to bring attention to it so it will be ended. Should I jump online, say what I know about bad people only one time, here, there they are, there's bad people, this is bad, and then never say anything on it again, because if I put my attention on it, more of this will happen? No, if we keep our attention off of it, more of it will happen. And more of this. And I'm allowed to get angry if I want to get angry. I'm not some automaton that doesn't have emotions. They've got people screwed up in this country. Men aren't supposed to have anger anymore. Jordan Peterson has a saying that I'm very fond of. Now he's an intelligent man. There's a few things he's said in the last year that I completely disagree with. He's completely off base on some things. But one thing he said that I highly disagree, or I highly do agree with, I should say, is A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who keeps that under voluntary control. My natural state is not one of anger. I do not get some type of adrenaline rush or feeling of power from my righteous anger. Some people use anger as a mask. They would rather have that emotion of anger because it's a more powerful feeling emotion than shame or guilt. And they quite frankly get addicted to it. In self-defense communities and jiu-jitsu communities, often we talk about the guys that are out there that are like, man, if I have to get into a fight, I just see red and that's it. I just see red and bodies drop, right? I just see red and blah, 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 blah. Most times, those guys who just see red, if they run into somebody who knows what they're doing, they're just going to be really, really angry and seeing red while they get their behinds handed to them. I even said in my book, Violence and Ego, that violence begets more violence. That violence has never really solved anything permanently in human history. The only thing that's going to do that is a shift in our consciousness of understanding that we should not initiate harm to other beings through physical harm or coercion. If I walked up to a female partner, a friend, a girlfriend that I'm living with, and I'm standing above her, and I make a fist and I say, I should beat the fuck out of you. Even if that moment in time I didn't because she was filming me, wouldn't that be considered the coercive threat of violence? Even under man's law, that's considered domestic violence. If somebody walked up to me and did that, do I have to wait for them to throw a punch at me for me to act? Or should I very, very logically believe what they're saying, that they want to do me harm? See, when I was a cop, as a defensive tactics instructor and the defensive tactics instructors I had, they would tell us, if you're dealing with a suspect who tells you they are going to F you up, believe them. Now, I'm talking about this. Do I want these things to occur? Am I putting my energy on these things because I want them to occur? Or am I simply trying to teach and bring attention to these very real things that do happen in our everyday lives, and we have to do something about it? Now, I'm not saying become obsessed. Justice card's good. I like that it's upright. I'm not saying become obsessed. If all I thought about was this right here, I'd go nuts. You have to have other. If all I thought about this, I'd go nuts. Just looking at it is terrifying to me. Dead children. Firing squads, Semitic Jews during World War II. Not European settlers, real Semitic Jews. If all I thought about was women getting beat up by drunken, messed up men, I don't want to be thinking about all that negative stuff constantly. But this right here, I wish I could pause this. Is there a way to pause this? People filter. That's Travis Walton. He was one of the most famous UFO abduction cases to ever happen They wrote a whole book on it. They made a movie about it. And I'm paraphrasing what that says, but he has this saying that people often will filter through the screening mesh of what they want to be and don't want to be true, as opposed to seeing where the facts will lead you. And I've seen a lot of people in cognizant dissonance over what's happening in the world, or cognizant dissonance over a loved one who needs help, but they don't want to get that loved one help. They turn a blind eye to what that person is doing, even if that person is hurting somebody else, hurting women, hurting children. I had somebody making all these excuses about this person. I can't stand by personally, ever. I never will in my life. I never have in my life. And it's not going to start now. I cannot stand by and see the victimization of another human being without saying something or doing something. And if I can prevent further harm through some type of action that I take, I will prevent further harm. It's my job. There's been fires in the world. I don't want to manifest a fire, but again, I've got something here to maybe help combat that. Okay? I've never once in all my life have had to shoot anything, an animal or a person. I never want to. I still, in my life, have owned guns for self-defense. I'm not looking for that chance to get to use them. We have to really be careful when we start giving advice to people. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Well, what is that energy? Is it a resentful energy? Is it an energy based on love? Because if it's an energy based on love, on care, then you need to have your attention on it, because you need to be tactically thinking about how to deal with it in the safest, most tactical, soundest way that's going to have the best outcome for yourself. You can't just close your eyes and hope something goes away, because when we keep our attention off stuff, look what happens. Again, look what happens. We have history repeating itself. Two weeks ago, I buried my mother. She's been sick for over a year now. She was an abused woman. Got abused right in front of me and my little brothers when we were kids. She turned into a very strong woman. Became a nurse. Was a good one. Good teacher. And I've mourned her for a couple years now, so it's not like this was... She wasn't in her right mind. Like, she can hear me now and understand me. I know that. She couldn't understand me a year ago when she was still drawing breath, though. She didn't even know who I was. It's still never easy. It's not easy. When you see a loved one in a casket, and it's that final, at least for this life. But there were some supernatural things that occurred the night she passed. And I had a friend here, and we both experienced them. She came by. We felt the chill. And people will look at you and think you're strange for saying something like that, you know. The same people who believe in the invisible bearded guy in the desert sky might want to throw you into a psych unit if you speak like that. Yeah, there was a ghost. She came and visited really quick. There's definitely more to this life than what we see with our own, senses. But what are you going to do? What are you going to put your attention on? Put your attention on good health for yourself. Put your attention on exercise. Put your attention on love. Put your attention on anything that you want to put your attention on with a positive energy behind it. Not talking about something, in my opinion, does not make it just magically disappear. Talking about things is how you work through them. If more people talked about things, we'd be able to work through these things. But when we don't want to pretend that they're not, that they don't exist, or the possibility, let's just say that Jesus was actually a Palestinian or a Phoenician, a Philistine, from that same area of the world. What if he was? What if all the prophets were human beings that were speaking the truth? And were trying to teach the truth of morality and the truth of what our existence could be, as opposed to what we're told it is, through indoctrinated, dogmatic, state-sponsored religious belief systems. And here you go, right here. Look at this chaos. This is chaos. Chaos. They say that anarchy is chaos. No, that's government. The world is broken out in government. It is not broken out in anarchy. For anyone watching this for the first time, the word anarchy, an, comes from the Greek prefix meaning without, and archon meaning ruler. So all it means is, anarchy just means without a ruler. If there's no rulers, there's nobody who's world. No rulers, no slaves, no servants, no masters. That doesn't mean there isn't rules. You follow the rules of natural law, of God's natural laws. That can be broken down, and I break them down as simply as I possibly can, just because they make sense. Don't initiate harm to other human beings. Don't do unto others that which you want done unto you. Don't steal. It's real simple. Don't use the coercive threat of violence. Don't coerce. You walk up to somebody and shake your fist at them and say you should beat the whatever out of them. That's the coercive threat of violence. I don't like bullies. I detest bullies. I'll stand up to any kind of bully in any kind of way, in any venue that they decide to be a bully at. But that said, I don't go out seeking or searching for problems or trouble. On the contrary, I like living a good life. I would rather enjoy my life with positive things and fun things, and just like every other human being wants to live the best life I can. But I'm not going to pretend things like these things that I have, circling through here don't happen. If I don't put my attention on those things a little bit with some willpower behind them, to make the intention of putting my attention on these things to be, I don't want these things to occur anymore, and enough people put their intention behind the attention with the willpower to stop this stuff, we'll stop it. But if we stay like this and listen to new agey stuff where your attention goes, energy flows, well, yeah, but what kind of energy is it? What is your energy? Is it a resentful energy? You're going to get resentment stuff back. Is it an energy to protect others and yourself? Then you're going to protect others and yourself. So this is all nuanced stuff as far as I'm concerned. You can't just blanket state that. And for me, speaking about things with people is how I work through problems, getting people's different perspectives. This is only with an inner circle of people I trust. I wouldn't tell every single bit of every intricacy of the case I'm talking about right now on a public podcast. That'd be stupid. But to all of a sudden stay off the air, stay off of revolution.radio. By the way, every Thursday or Thursday morning at 09 a.m. in Studio A on revolution.radio, I will be doing a radio show from this Thursday on. I skipped 2 weeks because of what's going on, and I'm thinking back on it, and I shouldn't have. Things started happening fast. I had to collect myself and take a couple weeks off. But now isn't the time to stop speaking all of a sudden. No. I'm going to forge ahead. And continue speaking. Because I believe I have the truth on my side. I believe God with a capital G understands that my intention behind the attention going to where good energy is going to flow, I'll be okay. So take the blinders off, look at what's going on in the world, start getting prepared for what's going on. Lots of crazy weather anomalies, a lot of wars, and everyone's got problems going on in their own lives. And a lot of people got their blinders on. They don't want to look at the ugliness of what's going on around them. And what affects one of us affects all of us. So if we keep allowing the genocide and murder of innocent people to go unchecked, it will go unchecked, and it will get worse and worse and worse. If we don't make a stand for something that is good in our own personal lives to protect people, then this is going to continue to happen. This will continue to happen. And I don't care what drugs or alcohol you ingest, do it all. If you're not initiating harm to others, have at it. I don't care about the drugs you do. But if you're initiating harm to others because you can't handle those drugs correctly, you maybe should think about curtailing the substance abuse. But at the end of the day, I don't care about what you put in your body. I care about how you act and treat others. Because even mistreating others in a coercive, lying, manipulating way is bad. And then when it gets to the point where you think you have a right to hit women in front of their children, fuck you. It ain't gonna happen while me and people like me exist in this world. And I don't have to still have a little shiny thing on my chest to use force to defend myself against violence. Okay, there's a difference between violence, which violates you, and using some type of force to defend yourself, but immediately stopping once the threat is no longer a threat. Self-control is important. I'm blessed with the training I've had to give me that type of self-control. Everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone can rise from darkness. Even if you have hit a woman in front of children, you still got the spark of the divine within you. Admit where you're wrong. Get help for yourself. Take responsibility for the harm you've done to others. Make amends. Improve yourself. In 2 years, you could be a completely different person. Doing seminars on how messed up you were and how sorry you were and what you're doing now and what you have done. It ain't the end of the show just because you've done something bad. But you can't be forgiven if you hurt a woman in front of her children. Really bad, right? Or if you kill somebody in a car accident because you're careless with substance abuse. As far as I'm concerned, you messed up in this life. And karma's going to come for you. Karma's going to come. Where my attention goes, my energy flows. And the intention behind that energy is not resentment. It's not revenge. It's focused, concentrated anger to stop an action that's bringing harm to someone else. So I don't think I can ever be one of those people who just pretend something isn't going on. We all tend to want to talk about the things that are affecting our lives. Sometimes we can't. We have to be careful who we talk to and what we say. I'm not saying put yourself in dangerous situations purposely if you can avoid them. Absolutely. In martial arts, I've always taught de-escalation and conflict avoidance. If you're a martial arts teacher of any kind and you're not teaching that, you shouldn't be teaching martial arts. I don't know what else I have to say this morning. That was just on my mind. Because I've heard too many New Agers out there say where your energy, where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if your energy is flowing to something that's negative, it's not good. What if, again, where my attention goes, my energy flows, but the intention behind that attention isn't resentment? It's tactical self-defense. It's defending yourself legally after something. It's collecting evidence. It's being able to prove why you had to defend yourself, let's just say. Sometimes you have to play chess. You have to know what their next move's going to be. Sometimes you don't have to do nothing, and they're going to mess up themselves. But if it's something that bothers you, it does, if you got trusted people, it does you no good to keep it in. You're just going to make yourself sick. And if you've got 1 to 3 people that you really trust and you can talk to, count yourself as a very fortunate human being. Because we need to be able to speak. We need to be able to talk. Talking is what will end. Talking about what the problems in the world are, the philosophical and spiritual solutions to higher consciousness to stop this kind of stuff. Talking is what will stop it, because once the talking stops, well, we see where we end up going in the world, and everyone wants to justify why they think they're the good guy for murdering somebody. This picture right here. How'd they justify this? How's this justified in their minds? If you're drunk and you're slapping a woman, how do you justify it? Again, a woman can hurt you if she's trying to attack you and you have to, restrain her or something, or if you reflexively hit her back because she smacked the crap out of you out of nowhere. That's a different story. But because you're in a heated argument, you think you have a right to put your hands on somebody? And you're a man and you put your hands on a woman? Nah, man, you're a fucking piece of shit. And thanks to that last bit of language, I guess I'm not going to play this on Revolution.radio. Sometimes I'll do one of these and I'll play the whole show on the radio, but I just can't keep my ranting in. And I've been pretty good-natured this morning for the most part. Thanks, Joe Rogan. Maybe it's because of the alpha brain I took. But anyways, I've been running my app a lot. I guess the main thing I want to get across is yes, energy does indeed flow to where your attention goes. But what is the intention behind your attention is what matters. Is that intention resentment, or is that intention true care? That's what you have to decide upon. If that intention is resentment, then you need to break off from putting your attention on that thing. But if it's true care to not have this happen again, if it's true care to get somebody help, if it's true care because you have a vested interest in caring for yourself, you don't want to be put out there, so to speak, hung up to dry by somebody who doesn't care about anybody, well, it's still true care. Self-interest is still self-interest. It's not a narcissistic trait to be interested in your own, well-being. That's something else. Self-love, right? Real boundaries, real healthy boundaries. Not the new agey fake, I'm setting boundaries. Sometimes that's code for I'm accepting no responsibility. I'm setting boundaries. I'm accepting no responsibility. Get the fuck out of here, man. There's too much. See, I've had a lot of experience, and I've really studied psychology. I don't just read memes on Facebook. And no, I don't have any initials behind my name. But everybody in Washington, D.C., and all over the world, these rulers, they've all got initials behind their names from college educations. How's that working out for us so far? Where's the whole holistic intelligence? Where's the common sense? The person I'm talking about will spend 20 minutes in the mirror, having an argument in the mirror and debating so he can match his debate with his facial language with his debate. This is what politicians do. This is what people in politics do. And only lunatics get into politics, and all ticks are parasites. I really don't care what people do as long as they don't do this. Don't initiate harm to others. And nobody that I've ever trained to the level of a black belt is going to abuse a woman and still be considered a black belt by me. That's the end of that. Go buy your own if you want to wear one so bad. Anyway, this was my Tuesday morning rant. It's a long rant, I guess. It's kind of just a catharsis. Again, the main message of this is yes, where attention goes, your energy flows. I put some attention on some good stuff yesterday. My energy flowed to it. And I got some good stuff that happened yesterday that I'm not going to say yet. And it's probably going to still go on today because I'm putting my focus and intention on something. And I am manifesting something in my life. But the manifestation of these things have to come through action. So where your attention goes, energy flows. But what is your intention behind the attention? Does it come from a good space? Is it for the betterment of others and the real safety of others and yourself? Or is it coming from a space of resentment? I can do a whole show on the dark side of envy. Envy is one of the 7 deadly sins. The dark side of envy is resentment and jealousy. And it comes from laziness. If there's somebody in your life that's that guy for you, there are no cheat codes to become that guy. You have to work for it. And then when the work doesn't work out and you become lazy, you're going to start to resent that person because you can't be what you want it to be. That's the dark side of envy. The light side of envy is admiration for what someone else has accomplished or does. And then you seek to emulate that, to also do that, and maybe bring something uniquely of your own to the table. Why do you think there's like 20 million different styles of karate and kung fu. When a punch is a punch and a kick is a kick. Because every single person that got up to a certain level in their training wanted to add their own little spin onto something that was, in many cases, very effective, and they would name it something different. That's why you have so many rus in the Japanese martial arts. You put a little bit of your own into that. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's creativity. We're all here to be creators. God with lowercase g's, right? God with a capital G created us. Well, we're all fragments of God, lowercase g, so we're creators. You're going to create this? That's not creation, that's destruction. And it comes from resentment, it comes from jealousy, and it comes from laziness. You want to be the guy, do the work. The light side of envy. Admiration. There's a lot of people I have admiration for. And I've become the best at those things I possibly could become because of them. That doesn't mean I'll ever be better than them, but I don't have no resentment towards them because I actually worked because of them, and I'm not lazy. There's no cheat codes in real life. This isn't a video game. Okay, I'm fucking just talking and ranting now, I guess, and nothing funny. God damn. Oh, excuse my language. I didn't mean that. Well, I can say goddamn all I want, but I usually don't do that. This is a rant. I should swear a little bit. Maybe a joke or something, right? It's been a couple weeks since I've been on. But we need to put our attention with intention and with the proper intention, put our attention on things to create the best results and manifest the best results we possibly can. And sometimes that means putting our attention on unpleasant things, but if we do it with the proper intention, it's good. That's what you're supposed to do. And if anyone tries to invalidate that, distance yourself, at least for a while. Because when you're being invalidated on something, it does nothing but steal your confidence. I'm telling you. So you got to back away from it. I'm not saying stay obsessed with something. Right now I got 10 different things going on today at one time. So my attention will be on different things. My energy will flow to several different things today. That doesn't mean it's not going to come back to an ongoing problem I have in my life that needs to get resolved. And I can't just not put my attention on it. Now, if I put my intention on that attention as being something focused and good for a good result to come, that's what you want to do. So yes, where you put your attention, where attention goes, energy flows, but what is your intention behind the attention? And that will greatly influence the outcome or the manifestation of what you desire and don't desire if you're not doing it for the right reasons. With that said, man, happy Tuesday. Peace out. Love you guys. Till next time. Stay safe.